I'm going to introduce the mayor this time.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for being here and trying to find out really some more information about the acquisition of the Alpha Country Club. If I'm speaking too loud, let me know. I got accused of yelling into the mic last time, so I'm going to try to restrain my enthusiasm. First and foremost, I want to start this off by just saying the absence of facts, rumors kind of take a good foothold, and unfortunately, it gets spread out there, and that's why we're here today, is for you guys to ask us any question that you want to, not only myself, but of all the principal staff here that were involved with the acquisition, and we want to be educated, we want you to be informed. So I'll give you the timeline. June 18th, we had an executive session, and while I can't go into detail of an executive session, all 6 other council members directed myself and the town manager to go out and pursue an opportunity, not with HSL, but there was another buyer group who I cannot and will not name, to see if there's a possibility that they would liquidate the country club and some of the amenities only at the country club, nothing over at the Hilton, because we were looking for a community recreation center. And so I approached that group, and they said, we'd love to have conversations with you. When we have the conversation though, can you please keep our name under the radar, because we don't want anybody to know that we're in the process of looking seriously at buying the Hilton. Well, that deal fell through. And so for a while, from that was in June, talks was about mid-July, so really from about July to August, there was kind of a hiatus. And in the meantime, the town manager ended up approaching MetLife themselves, and the acquisition price that they were asking for was 2.5 times what we actually got it for today. So that was kind of our deal. And then the third opportunity came with HSL. They also asked me to keep their name under wraps while they do their due diligence, and I honored their request as well. And so what happened is, as it got closer and closer and closer, and finally got toward the end of October, they knew that they were going to enter into serious negotiations because they put down a very substantial deposit that they couldn't back out. And they said, okay, you can go ahead and release the name. Unfortunately for me, that got into November. And so the first time I can actually enter publicly who I was in conversation with was December 3rd. But make no mistake, backtracking again, all 7 council members knew from June 18th what we were working on. And so the deal, as Misty described, for the 31 tennis courts, the 330 plus acres, the 45 holes of golf, the restaurants, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you're looking at $1 million over a 3-year interest-free payment plan. And that's really what the deal was. So there's a lot of speculation with Bert Lopez, HSL, about this deal smells, why would he give it to us for such a ridiculously low price, et cetera, et cetera. And those are valid questions. So my job is to create partnerships so that the town can be beneficial. We did that with Pima County with the acquisition and turning over the Oro Valley Public Library to a county library. We now have expanded hours, we have expanded staff, better equipment. Same thing with Coyote Run. My job was to create a form of partnership with the RTA. And so while Coyote Run went away, the namesake, it morphed into the Sun Shuttle Dial Ride. We now have 5 times the ridership, over 5 times the geographic area, and the town in that particular case saved about $250,000, and turning over the public library, the town saved close to a little bit over $600,000 a year. So with Bert Lopez, why did he give the town such a ganga deal? There were 2 other buyers in line, and when the first buyer fell through, and the second buyer, which was MetLife, wasn't really doable because it was out of our price range, so to speak. I approached Bert Lopez and said, I was in conversations with the first buyer, here's the deal. So if you're interested, this is what we'd like to do. And so through a very long process, we kept the council informed about the details of the plan. We ended up getting not only the amenities at the country club, but we also got 9 additional holes, plus 16 tennis courts, plus the clubhouse, the pro shop for the golf, and the pro shop for the tennis, for all the same price. So how this works is that the town was looking to acquire the country club. Bert Lopez is not in the golf industry business. So he knows that we were going to take care of the property, and because we took care of the property, it's only going to be beneficial for the hotel because we're looking at bed tax opportunities to go through the sports tours, when I get to that in just a second, and create these kind of win-win-win situations. And the third leg of it is that Troon is in the picture, and with Troon's help, we're looking at an equal partnership investment, 33.5% each. And the success is built where it doesn't work if HSL doesn't sell it to the town for a low price. It doesn't work if HSL sells it to somebody for them that isn't willing to put the financial investment into it. And it doesn't work for Troon unless the town and HSL actually create a good roadmap for success of the golf course itself. Unfortunately for me, we're talking about just the golf course only. Is really what the albatross is in the room, or the elephant in the room, to be honest with you. But from my standpoint, we are looking for a community/recreation center. We are aggressively capitalizing on sports tourism. We're looking at the investment in the aquatic center. We're looking at the archery range, the development of the Nerano Park site, bike trails, hike trails. So we're looking to create one of these towns where it's a go-to destination. So let's talk a little bit about revenue source. Why the half-cent sales tax versus the other 4 revenue sources, which are utility tax, a property tax, which we don't currently have, and we're talking about commercial lease tax, which we don't have, and a renter's tax, which we don't have. The reason I was attracted to the sales tax at a half-cent sales tax is because right now, roughly 30 cents of every dollar is paid by an outsider. So the other 4 revenue sources, utility tax, property tax, and the other 2 that I named, when you pay a dollar, it's a true dollar. So right now, when you pay a dollar, it's not a true dollar. You're only paying 70 cents on the dollar. And what this council is really good at doing is to making sure that we try to acquire assets that take the burden off the residents. And that's what we do. So with the aquatic center the same way, again, the archery center the same way, with the Nerano Park site the same way. So while we are looking to lure outside groups coming in and spend their hard-earned money here in the town of Oro Valley, and Greg will correct me, and then they go home, well, on the off times, well, guess what we have? We have a beautiful pool, we have a beautiful country club, we have a beautiful golf course, tennis courts, et cetera, et cetera. And so some people want to know, why don't we bond? Bonding is a double-edged sword because one, to build a brand new community center or / recreation center, then we can have exactly what we want to have. Some of the studies that Mr. Cade and his staff found out is that to build from the ground up, you're looking at most likely about $20 million. So do I want to bond my residents for $20 million and we still have to come up with a revenue source? The half-cent sales tax is dedicated for this property. So, which means all the other programs that we're looking at putting on, they still continue. We're not robbing from Peter to give to Paul. There is no sunset clause either, and that was by design. And the reason is, by the time most elected officials get to the end of the sunset, something invariably happens. Which means either they don't sunset it, and then they have to bear the wrath of the general public because they made a promise that they can't keep, or they have to look for another revenue source. So mine is very simple. So what I want to try to do with this is not to sunset it, because again, we're trying to get that roughly 30 cents on the dollar to be 40, 45, 50 cents on the dollar, paid for by an outsider, not a resident of the town of Oro Valley, and then in return, take the utility tax, which is a true dollar for us, and it's borne 100% by the Oro Valley resident, and drop that from 4% to 3% to 2%, and hopefully to 0%. And that's the idea and the method to the madness. Over the last 5 years, I want you to understand there's nothing that hasn't been done by design. Everything, every decision that's been made over the last 5 years has been studied, and it's either going to be beneficial to our residents, and it basically fits into one of my 3 philosophies for governing. Provide basic services at an affordable cost, that's category 1. Category 2 is to work with either the for-profit or the not-for-profit sector in order to better the lives of our residents. That's category number 2. And the third category that I firmly believe in is to truly help those individuals who truly need help. So every decision that we've made over the past 5 years fits into one of those 3 categories, and this is no different. So I'm here to tell you as mayor, yes, I was charged with going out by the other 6 council members, including the town manager, and to come back with the framework of a deal, which we did on December 3rd, and we voted on December 17th. Real quick about the timeline, the reason for the timeline for that is that at the point in time, there were 2 other buyers, and HSL did not want to own a golf course, period, not even for 1 day. So I gave them my commitment. I'll bring it to council for the opportunity to vote on it, and it'll be a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and I'm okay either way with that. And it happened to be a thumbs up, and so we move forward with it. So December 18th, that property would not be there. So there is a little bit of a rumor going around that says Bert Lopez is going to be willing to wait until May. He's not willing to wait until May.
He said that.
And so I have a letter, regardless of what he said, unless you heard it directly from his mouth, I have a letter which he penned, and you're more than welcome to actually ask for a copy of that letter, and I'll email it to you, and you can see exactly the mischaracterization by an individual who only took half a sentence and then spun the other half. And again, I'm here to have you ask me or any one of my team up here for an answer. You may not like the answer, but we will give you the answer nonetheless. And something interesting of note that I want to let you know is that we've been working on these numbers since June. And to date, I think Stacy can clarify that, the numbers haven't changed. Which means that we just didn't put a bunch of things together. This is a very well thought out process. Do I think for all that we're going to get for $1 million over 3 years, do I think that's going to be a community asset? You bet I do. I really do. I think it's going to kill a lot of birds with one stone. People talk about it around a town site, and that's really where this community center was supposed to go. Well, there are other things that we weren't going to be able to do now that possibly we can do, i.e. a performing arts center, which is very near and dear to my heart. So there are other opportunities that we have now that this opportunity came by. So I'll jump up here as needed. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and then we'll just kind of question and answer. Thank you.
He had a day off.
Thank you, Mayor Hiremath. Next in our program